Hello everyone, I'm Buck Weezer and welcome to another video with Buck's Small Engine DIY on YouTube. We are putting the do into do-it-yourself, and I am here today with a Honda engine on a lawnmower. This is the Honda GCV 160, and I am going to do something I've been wanting to do for a long time. That is, we're going to outsmart the Honda engineers. And we're going to solve the problem of the frustration that is experienced anytime you go to change out or install a carburetor on one of these engines. A couple of years ago, I did a video on Honda carburetor installation nightmare. And a lot of people were able to relate to that video because it's so frustrating. And what we're going to do is, we're going to essentially, in a word, replace these two bolts that hold on the carburetor and all associated gaskets and plates. Replace these two bolts with two studs and nuts. This is going to be so much simpler. Now, this is not my idea, but it's a good one, and I've been wanting to do it for a long time. First, let me explain to you why it's such a nightmare trying to install a carburetor on this. So let me try to illustrate again what makes this such a complicated carburetor installation. The number of gaskets and plates required. So we will start with the engine block, and then there's this gasket. It's followed then by this plate. Then this gasket. Then this metal plate. Then another gasket. Finally, we get to the carburetor. And when you get to carburetor, you've got the thin and then the thicker linkage for the throttle. You got the linkage for the choke. And you also have the fuel line, right? After that, guess what? Another gasket. Then this plate. Then this final gasket. And finally, what did I do with it? Finally, we have this air cleaner assembly. And the way it works with these bolts is, you got to start with the air cleaner assembly, push the bolts in, and then try to hang in reverse order all of the components that I just listed for you. And as you move closer and closer to the engine, you can't see or reach back there to figure out what you're doing. It's just a nightmare of a design. So I decided that, based on the suggestion of someone else, let's get rid of these two bolts that hold on the air cleaner and replace them with threaded studs that we can screw in, and then at our leisure hang all of the gaskets starting with the back of the engine block and work our way out and have a peaceful and easy carburetor installation, which would have been the best way to do it from the beginning. So what I did is I went out and got some, take you off the tripod here. I went on Amazon and ordered some threaded rod, stainless steel threaded rod, and stainless steel nuts to replace these two bolts, right? When you do this, you're going to have to search for, it's a metric size, M6 times 1.00. Might just be called M6. Now, I first went to my local hardware store. They didn't have it. They only had standard English sizes like quarter, 20 threaded rod. Then I thought, well, maybe I'll try the Home Depot. They didn't have it either. So I bought it on Amazon. And I will, as I always try to do, leave you links in the description if you want to get some of that for yourself. So for about 20 bucks, I got enough threaded rod and nuts that I could do this to up to four Honda engines. So this is the first time doing it. Been wanting to do it for a long time. So let's walk through this process together, shall we? Okay, so let's start by hanging our threaded rod. And I'm going to use some high temperature thread sealant on the ends of these. I don't know if it's completely necessary, but it might be a good idea. I used my angle grinder to cut one of the threaded rods in half, not knowing exactly how long I needed it, but I will we'll shorten them at the end. Hopefully that'll work out okay. Now I got 2 nuts on here right now. I'm going to tighten them together, and hopefully that will allow me to thread in the rod the full amount of distance that it should go, which I don't know how many turns that is, but we don't want it to come out. All right. All right, and then after that's in and tightened down, you can remove these nuts. Okay, so that's the one. He's in. Let's try the second one. Tighten these together, and hopefully we'll be able to run this threaded rod in a ½ inch or so, or as far as it'll go. And again, I made these threaded rods longer than they need to be. I didn't want to take a chance of making them too short, and we'll cut them at the end. I think that's pretty good. All right, loosen these guys. And we'll take them off. All right, so they're in, and now we can start hanging our gaskets and components leisurely, relaxed sort of fashion with full access to everything we want to see and touch. This is gonna be great. Lined up all my gaskets in order, in the order that they're going to go on, because I want to get it right. And if you don't get these quite right, you'll yeah, that doesn't look right. It doesn't line up correctly at all. Let me try that again. Alright, I think I got that guy on correctly now. Then this spacer. Metal plate. Oh, and guess what? Another gasket. Finally, it's time for the carburetor. That is fantastic. And I can probably go ahead and connect the fuel line. Possibly, I should put the linkages on first. Give that some thought, because these are hard to get on once the carburetor's in place. There we go. And I like to grab this thin wire with needle nose pliers. There we go, that was a piece of cake. And we can slide him in there. Like that, all right? It's going great so far. I'm all relaxed. I'm not anxious. The frustration is gone. Next, this gasket. And you know, if you're replacing the carburetor on these, you can buy, like I did, this set of gaskets online on eBay for a couple of bucks. I'm going to reuse this one that's on the front of this plate because that one's not that important in my opinion anyway. So next we put this plate on. Slide it all back. I think at this point I can bolt this down again. This guy right here. All right. Make sure things are moving like they should. All right, and we haven't bolted anything down, so it's just sitting on there nice and easy. So we're all good to go. Oops, almost forgot the fuel line. You can't see it, but I can. Perfect, that's on now. That's good to go. I think all that remains is the this top cover. I'll make sure my throttle, my choke works. Okay, that's good. He's opening and closing as he should. Guess what? This guy can go on. Up like that, and of course our bolts are too long. So I will need to cut them, but I wanted to keep them long and know how to cut them afterward. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to run these nuts all the way in. Then I'm going to mark the studs, pull this top cover off, this air cleaner, and then we'll cut the studs. We'll mark them and cut them where we want them. I don't know, I might be able to cut them even up here if I can get my angle grinder on there. I don't want them to, they can stick out as far as this intake opening here, so I only have to cut off about 1 inch, and I can probably do that with my angle grinder even while the cover's up here. So let me try that. That'll be easier. All right. Put this guy in. All right. Now our carburetor's on there. It's up nice and tight. And we did it without any drama, dropping things. No one was tempted to curse, lose their cool. Let's open the fuel valve, put on our air filter, and fire it up. All right, he's back in business. Okay, that was fun. I really feel like I accomplished something and saved myself a big headache that I've been struggling with for the last couple of years dealing with these Honda engines. I hope that that idea of the threaded rod is helpful to you. I'd like to hear your comments and questions. That's always welcome in the discussion below. Appreciate you taking time to watch this video. And this is Buck Weezer signing off. I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye. Big dummy, I forgot to put gas in it.